Okay, so we're in Reykjavik, Iceland for day 2 of our first ever solo trip. Here's what happened. I booked a day tour for the Golden Circle and I visited the Sky Lagoon. I just had to be at a hotel across the street between 7:30 and 8 a.m. for pickup. I was proud. I was 5 minutes early and my only concern was the construction in front of the hotel. 30 minutes later, no bus. I immediately called the company. They told me the bus driver came and said I was a no-show, but that they can get me on a later tour. I just wouldn't be able to go to the Sky Lagoon, but I could be refunded for that excursion. Spoiler alert, they did not give me a refund. So I got an extra hour of sleep and returned to the right spot. We first stopped at Thingvellir National Park, which is located on the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates. The plates are drifting away from each other, so this area is constantly changing, and you can walk between the rifts, which is cool. I grabbed my first ever smoked salmon and egg salad sandwich at the spot. I want to say that this has become my new obsession, but I don't have the budget to be buying smoked salmon on a weekly basis yet. Then we drove to the Great Geyser. I stood there for like 10 minutes waiting to film a bit of this geyser erupting and still managed to jump a little when it happened. This park reminded me of the fire swamp scene in The Princess Bride, and I imagine it also smelled similar. We had more time here, and there was a massive cafe and gift store, so I grabbed some fish and chips and a coffee because I kept falling asleep during the long drives between stops, so I was wide awake for our final stop at Gullfoss Falls. It was pretty magnificent, especially in the context that I learned from my tour guide before we arrived. In the 18th century, foreign investors wanted to build a dam and use the waterfall as an electricity generator, but this environmental activist protested the sale. She walked all the way to Reykjavik to protest the waterfall and contact lawmakers. Mind you, her father was the one who partially owned the land and signed the deal, so she's going out of her way to get this obstructed. Her efforts failed, but eventually the investors' money dried up and Iceland ended up purchasing the land to conserve it, and I'm so glad they did. It was my favorite part of the trip. It was just like absolutely stunning here. I was so exhausted after the day, so I returned to my hotel, cleaned up, and got dinner, which was this white asparagus and steak, and ended my night with some glasses of wine at the bar and making friends with the bartenders.